Was everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental, what we're going to watch here.
That's different than because he views Jake Paul as a decent boxer. This is not the first time that someone has come out and said this. We've heard Terrence Bud Crawford come out and say that because of the size difference, Tank won't be able to hurt Jake Paul, and that Jake Paul could probably knock him out with one punch.
Floyd Mayweather reportedly stormed the stage during the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis press conference, sending shockwaves through the arena. What was meant to be a promotional event quickly escalated into a heated confrontation. Words were exchanged, tempers flared, and tension filled the room as Mayweather warned Jake Paul in front of a stunned crowd. The moment captured just how serious this fight has become. No longer just a crossover spectacle, but a personal rivalry with real stakes for everyone involved.
Just showing up. Honestly, yeah, I'm gonna knock him out. You know, he has a lot of flaws in his defense, and I'm gonna expose him. You know, look what a 135 Lamont Roach did to him, and it's just gonna be so much fun for me. I'm so glad that God gave me this moment. I'm Gervonta and Tank Davis.
From the start, many critics dismissed the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup as pure spectacle, more show than sport. Yet not everyone shares that opinion. Combat sports journalist Ariel Helwani pointed out a curious double standard. When similar crossover fights happen in MMA, fans call them innovative and exciting. But when they happen in boxing, people call them meaningless. Helwani argued that this contradiction exposes how the boxing community often resists change, even when it brings entertainment value. To him, the fight might not fit traditional boxing values, but it undeniably captures the audience's attention, and that, in today's fight game, matters.
Generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150, like how much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? Do you know what I mean, PT? In MMA, like, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks, there's no doubt about that. But I will say...
You agree, right, or no?
Yeah, like, the idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is. We know what this is. It is absolutely mental, what we're going to watch here. I think where people get annoyed with Jake is, like, you know, he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outrage farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like... reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. You know, like, this is every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as, like, you know, why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'll be like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactfully, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like, he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is, this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all enjoy it collectively.
But do you not think he does agree to that? Do you not think he knows what this is?
No, I do.
Even Floyd Mayweather himself has weighed in with a measured but revealing take. Speaking about Jake Paul, Mayweather admitted that while the Paul brothers are doing things the world doesn't fully understand, they're smart businessmen who know exactly what they're doing. Still, he emphasized that Jake's skills have never truly been tested against an elite-level fighter. They know what they're doing, Floyd said, but he hasn't faced anyone with real experience yet. His comments reflect what many purists feel, that a fight between a YouTuber-turned-boxer and one of boxing's most explosive champions doesn't align with the sport's true spirit. For longtime fans of Gervonta Davis, this matchup feels less like progress and more like a distraction from his legacy.
Like I said before, they know what they're doing. Both brothers. Logan as well as Jake, they know what they're doing, so they're doing...
Adding to the controversy are the strange storylines surrounding the event. One of the most surprising came when reports surfaced that Shakur Stevenson had sparred with Jake Paul. Fans immediately turned on him, accusing the former champion of supporting what they saw as a mockery of boxing. But Shakur responded calmly, saying he wasn't bothered by the criticism and instead used it as motivation. His maturity stood out. Yet the backlash itself revealed something deeper: how emotionally charged this fight has become. Even fighters not directly involved are getting dragged into the drama, showing how the conversation has shifted from boxing technique to social media noise.
People think that Tank ain't gonna knock out Jake Paul. Like, bruh, I'm gonna tell you exactly how it's gonna go. Jake Paul will go in that ring thinking he has the upper hand, he has the reach, he has the weight, and he gonna go in there confident. Yeah, he might stun Tank a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you, he gonna underestimate Tank. That's exactly what's about to happen. He's gonna underestimate him and his size, and he gonna get crushed. I think this right here is what's gonna end Jake Paul's boxing career. I think that Jake Paul, when you sit here and think about it, the people he fought, I'm not saying they wasn't real fighters, but they just not no Tank Davis. Buddy, I'm telling you, I don't think this is scripted. I think, yes, this is for money, but I think it's like, hey, at your own cost, go in that ring. Y'all know the weight difference. What's going to happen is what's going to happen at the end of the day. I think Tank really go, hey, drop him. He ain't going to understand. Jake Paul ain't understand how, but he's about to see it. And on some real stuff, I think Tank setting Jake Paul up. So I remember when Jake Paul went up against Tyson, he said, you need to fight me. I want to get in the ring with Jake Paul. He disrespected the boxing world by getting in the ring with Tyson and embarrassing him. And, you know, Tank really messed with Tyson. I think he setting him up, bro. Mark my words. I think he like, yeah, come in the ring, but we're going to do a friendly, you know what I'm saying? You know, a match or whatever. We're going to get this money up. He about to embarrass him November 14th. Just because Jake Paul think the boxing world's sweet. He think it's sweet. He think they about to keep taking it easy on him with these fights. All right, I bet you. How much I want to bet? Tank is setting him up. He's going to literally do him so bad just to make an example out of.
Other top fighters, including Devin Haney and Terrence Crawford, have also spoken up. Both men acknowledged Gervonta Davis's talent, but warned that taking on Jake Paul could be risky due to the significant size difference. Jake's natural weight and reach advantage could present real challenges, even against a far more skilled opponent. Haney and Crawford emphasized that while entertainment is part of boxing, the sports foundation should remain competition and credibility. To them, and to many traditional fans, this fight risks blurring the line between a legitimate contest and a promotional stunt.
When Turkey was doing all that, like, I don't want no boring Tom and Jerry fights, he came out with a Tom and Jerry hat. And then he fought in a style that is not sustainable for him. And it's not, again, for me, it's not sustainable because fighting like that, if you do that with the wrong one, you'll lose. If you fight how you fight, okay, it's going to be harder to win. But you're putting your own self on the chopping block, trying to appease the crowd or not be Tom and Jerry. It's not sustainable. And even in the Zepeda fight, he got rocked back with a jab and fell into the ropes like that. So you could say I wasn't hurt and all that, but it's still a bad look. It's a bad look. People always talk about Tank, the knee, hair grease thing, but what about Shakur getting rocked into the ropes from a Zepeda jab? Even if you were off balance, you're supposed to be light years ahead of Zepeda skillfully. So to me, that still looks really bad. Like, I've watched 50 fights from Floyd Mayweather, and he's fighting way better than Zepeda level. And Canelo and these guys, they're not punching him into the ropes and he's staggering back. The optics of it look bad. So back to it, Shakur, I feel like he's trying so hard to look unbothered, but he always replies to it so you could tell he's bothered. He's like, man, I got him so mad at me. And I personally, I don't prefer that when people do that. Like, for example, Shakur's like, man, I got him tuned in and thanks for the support. Bro, they're not really supporting you. They're all the comments underneath you saying whatever you said about I get to pick Jake Paul's brain and work with him and all that. Most of them were negative. So you're trying to, like, it's so weird because it reminds me of when
I've seen people like celebrities or whatever who they have a
Former world champion Keith Thurman brought a refreshing balance to the debate. He pointed out that the same fans who criticize Gervonta Davis are often the ones who never misses fights. People love to complain, he said, but they still tune in because Tank always delivers. To Thurman, that's the sign of a true star. Controversy doesn't weaken Davis's image, it strengthens it. Whether fans watch to cheer or to doubt, they're still watching. And that's what keeps Tank in the spotlight. Thurman believes this fight, no matter how polarizing, will only reinforce Davis's influence in boxing. Even his critics help sell the show.
Because he views Jake Paul as a decent boxer. This is not the first time that someone has come out and said this. We've heard Terrence Bud Crawford come out and say that because of the size difference, Tank won't be able to hurt Jake Paul, and that Jake Paul could probably knock him out with one punch. We've seen Shakur Stevenson's words say that this is a clown show, that this is a disgrace to boxing, that it's something that he doesn't want to be a part of, but then do everything he can to be a part of it by turning from 2-division, 3-division world champion, former unified champion, and turning himself from that into a damn sparring partner for Jake Paul. So people's words, people's actions are showing that they really, really deep down like this fight. And now you can add Devin the Dream Haney to the list of fighters. And I just find it funny because here's the thing, I disagree with him. I am only interested in this fight because number one, I'm a diehard Gervonta Tank Davis fan. And number two, I don't really like Jake Paul at all. So I would like to see Tank Davis knock his block off. But as far as a competitive standpoint, as far as thinking it's a good fight, as far as loving the fight, nah, bro, I think it's a trash-ass fight. I think Tank Davis is way too good, way too skilled, way too talented to even allow Jake Paul to share the ring with him. That is my opinion. And so as a result, my pick of the fight or my overview and analysis of the fight is the same. If it's a real fight, if this is something that Tank Davis is taking serious, Jake Paul is going to get in that bitch and be...
Throughout his career, Gervonta Davis has spoken openly about legacy, about wanting to be remembered for real fights, real challenges, and real greatness. That's why this matchup with Jake Paul feels confusing to many. Fans see Davis as a serious champion, not an entertainer, and can't understand why he'd face someone better known for YouTube views than world titles. But Davis himself seems unbothered. He's walking his own path. And if that path leads to Jake Paul, it might be for reasons deeper than legacy, perhaps personal, perhaps financial. Whatever the case, Tank looks focused, not distracted.
With Tank, first off, don't watch Tank. Don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You support it, then what you doing? You can't not support and support at the same time, right? So if you're a boxing purist, then this fight with Roach is really more for you. It's going to be more up your alley, you know? If you just like all entertainment, all fights, all hypes, all everything, then you're going to want to tune in to the Tank and Paul show there, you know, because that's all for entertainment. What's it? For entertainment purposes only, right? It's just say like somewhere in the small print of the promotion. For entertainment, don't do this at home, kids. You know, so fine.
Disclaimer.
Yeah, disclaimer. For entertainment purposes only, you know. So, you know, it's money-making purposes only, you know.
Analysts describe the Davis versus Jake Paul fight as something that bends, if not breaks, boxing tradition. It's not purely sport and not purely show. It sits somewhere in between. These hybrid events are becoming more common, blending spectacle with skill, business with passion. Yet, the main reason this fight stands out is because both men are still active, still relevant, still hungry. Usually, crossover bouts feature retired fighters or celebrities. This one feels different, almost surreal, because both Davis and Jake are risking their reputations in real time.
Not the problem with boxing, Tank Davis is. Jake Paul's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's a Disney Channel kid, YouTube star turned boxer. Of course, he's gonna make these stupid spectacle matchups. He doesn't care about his career, his legacy, or the sport. Meanwhile, we have Tank Davis the heir apparent to Floyd Mayweather and Adrian Broner, who has real talent. And if he was actually consistent in the ring and was willing to get in with some of the best fighters in the world, he could be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the sport. But instead, Tank just wants to hold up his division for 5 years and make a mockery of the sport, especially with this fight. I know Tank Davis multiple times has said he only cares about the money and just wants to make $100 million and go retire off an island somewhere, but that's bad for the sport, especially coming from one of our sport's biggest superstars. Look at guys like Naoya Inoue, Alexander Usyk, Terrence Crawford. Those guys are real fighters, okay? They challenge themselves against the best fighters in the world. And money comes their way too from it. Don't get it twisted. What's crazy is Tank would make just as much money if he fought Shakur, Devin Haney, even Teofimo Lopez. The biggest tragedy of all is the fact that Lamont Roach isn't getting his rematch. He got robbed in that fight with a knockdown. He definitely would have won the split decision, and he would have got his Buster Douglas moment, but he didn't, and now he can't even get a rematch because Tank is going to do this, and now Lamont Roach has to fight Pitbull Cruz instead. I used to be such a big Tank Davis fan, but over the last year and a half that I've had this channel, the amount of BS that I've had to report on Tank Davis just like this completely turned me off as a fan of Tank Davis. Jake Paul can do his thing with the influencers, with the MMA fighters, but with boxers.
Tank's longtime trainer, Calvin Ford, remains confident despite the size difference. Having guided Davis since his teenage years, Ford knows how to prepare him for bigger opponents. He says Tank's speed, timing, and ring IQ will always outweigh physical disadvantages. People forget, Ford reminds everyone, Davis wins fights not with size, but with precision. Analysts agree. While Jake Paul has improved technically, he's never faced someone with Tank's timing, accuracy, or composure. On paper, Jake has the power and reach. In reality, Davis has the instincts and rhythm. That's what makes this matchup unpredictable, raw strength versus refined skill. And as the fight draws near, opinions remain split. Some call it a circus. Others call it a new era of entertainment. But one thing is certain, everyone will be watching.
We got blessed with this fight. That's how I look at it, you know?
Interesting comment there that they were getting ready for the Roach rematch, and then this fight was, he said they got blessed with this fight, but this fight came through. So the plan was actually to go and rematch Lamont Roach, which is something that I think he should have done. I think they for Tank's legacy, for, just the sanctity of pro boxing when it comes to a world champion and what they do with that world championship belt, I think he should have taken the Lamont Roach rematch. It seems like they were going to, but the obvious reason that everyone, I think, knows why they didn't is because Netflix and a Jake Paul fight come with a massive bag. Like, there's probably no comparison to what Tank will make to fight Lamont Roach or anybody else compared to Jake Paul. Whether you like that or not, it's the truth. He is a money fight, and so is Tank. And that's why they're going to do a shit ton of viewers on Netflix and why they're going to both make a shit ton of money. So the point I want to take away from that is that they were starting to get their minds and body ready for Lamont Roach, which means that Tank was in somewhat of a serious pre-camp, right? Somewhat of a serious, workout regimen, getting himself in shape. Not that Tank is super out of shape out of camp. I don't know that. But this means that he was mentally preparing for a fight regardless. It's not hopping off the couch Tank, which is not what you want to see, even against Jake Paul, because the least serious you take Jake, and I've said this about everybody that's fought him, the ones that don't take him serious, the ones that say he's a YouTuber and everything else, they end up losing, or they end up looking like, oh, wait a second, this guy was a little better than I thought. They end up either getting taken by surprise or actually sometimes losing because they don't realize that Jake actually takes it serious. So this is good to hear. Just already, right off the rip, they were already doing something.
Surprise. So tell me, when did you hear about this?
Going back and forth for years, Tank and Jake. They've been going at it for years, and it would have happened sooner. You know what I'm saying? But we have hiccups in life. That's what I call it, hiccups. But they lessons to learn from. But we back on track and we're keeping it moving.
When you heard about the fight, were you like, wait, what? Like, we're doing what?
Actually, when I heard about the fight, they called me and said, what you thought about the fight? I said, the fight doable. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched Tanky for years, and I watched other young men in gyms, deal with big guys. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he's big. To me, it's like Jake having his first open fights. If anybody know about the amateurs going open, then you go pro. So, you know, he's a very fighting guy.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates, reactions, and exclusive insights as the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight draws closer. Until next time, keep your gloves up